So ito naman yung login. Halos the same process. We are going to use the form validation, check if na-access siya sa database, and redirect it to the form or the dashboard of the visitor. So ngayon, gawa lang muna tayo ng isang page for the visitor part. Okay? So, before tayo mag-manage ng login. Okay, so close ko lang muna yung iba. And gagawa ako ng panibagong controller intended for the visitor. And I'm going to name it as visitor portal. So it's up to you guys what kind of name you wish to have. And I'm going to save this as visitor portal. Then I also need to create my folder. New folder, visitor, in the view part. And gagawin din ako ng file later on. So palitan natin to. Sige, gawa ko ng index file. Index.php. So HTML. H1. Hello visitor. Okay. Then we're going to change this account into visitor portal. Okay. Now, let's try to access that one. Currently, it is active for all kasi hindi pa naman natin manipulate yung session niya. I mean, not login. It should be portal. Visitor portal and then yung index niya. Yan. So, hello, as in hello. Hello lang. Walang W. Mali. Sorry. Yung mangyayari, if you already managed the login part, hindi dapat to ma-access ng ganito. It should be accessible if the user is already logged in. But since hindi pa tayo gumawa ng functionality for the login, we focus muna on managing on the part of the layout ng visitor dashboard. So yung gagawin natin, we're going to copy some template on the part of the Bootstrap. So same process yung ginawa natin before. So, gagawin lang natin. Hanap tayo dito ng dashboard. Meron silang dashboard. Ganito. And all we need to do is to copy this code and save it to our index lang muna. Yan. So, then, copy and update as well yung mga code natin. Let me try to copy some of the code here. Kailangan ko ng Bootstrap. Okay. Then, yung style CSS. Ilalagay na lang dyan. Then, ito, ilisin ko na lang to. Ito kailangan. For now. Then, I want to copy as well yung ito. Yung dashboard niya. Okay. Then, dyan lang muna yung iba. Footer naman niya. Let me try to copy this one. Mali. Doon tayo sa index. Ito. Yan. And if you try to refresh this one, what will happen where our page. Yan, sasara. So, hindi siya magandang tingnan. So, it is because wala pa tayong dashboard na CSS. So, let's try to copy this code and ilagay natin siya sa Bootstrap na rin. Assets, Bootstrap, CSS, new file, save as dashboard.css. Yan. Then, let's try to include that file. Mali. Mali. Kailangan ko to. Yan. Sige nga, try natin. Yan. Meron na siyang design kahit papaano. But meron akong changes na gustong gawin dito. Yung gusto kong i-white yung cover niya. Kasi that's the body. Yung container fluid niya, dun tayo sa style.css na custom ko. Yung container fluid, gusto kong magkaroon ng background color na white. Let's try that one. Yan. Pati yung iba nasali. Ba't nasali yung iba? Meron din. Meron din container fluid dito. Yung main na lang, yung main. Container fluid, tas main. Sige nga, try natin to. Background color, white. Okay, refresh. Yan. So at least white na siya. Hindi na katulad nung kanina. So ngayon, let's try to update the design. Change ko na lang yung navbar to different color. Sabihin natin ganon yung kulay niya. But I want this design to be implemented lang within this nav. So, ganon. Okay. So, yung dito, gusto ko ibahin yung kulay. Gusto kong gawing white. Kasi hindi siya malinaw. Same thing with the other part. Sorry. Should be white as well. Yan. So, since common naman to, I think, lagay ko na lang siya dito. Refresh. Yan. So, kung nasa dashboard ako ng user, ng visitor, ito yung design. Okay? So, we're going to change a little bit of this content. So, punta muna ako sa index. Palitan ko lang to. Refresh. Dito gusto ko sabihin ko yung nandito lang yung logout. So if you want to add other na mga inputs, you may. So ito yung logout natin. Then dito naman, there are two, saan na ba to? There are only two menu na meron tayo for the profile information, personal information, and for the so there are two menu. So personal information and then yung programming skills. Okay? Yan. So those are the two pages na gagawin rin natin. So yung iba dito, I think pwede naman natin itong i-remove. Hindi naman natin yan kailangan. Okay? So remove po na lang to. Yung ibang dashboard. Yun lang. Kakaroon siya ng body. Okay, so I guess kailangan kong manipulate yung kulay ng background dito. Since this is represent the body naman. Background color of white. Yan. So, remove ko na lang yung iba. Hindi natin kailangan. So, let's say na information na lang. Personal information. And then, dito, remove natin yung iba. I guess, dito na lang. May table about the personal information. So, ano ba yung table? So, punta tayo sa Bootstrap. Meron silang tables. Merong tables dito na pwede nating magamit. Sana ba yung sample code nila? Ito lang ba? Anyway. So, sabihin natin ganito. Table. Then, within the table, of course, meron siyang t-body. Then, tr. Then, th muna. Tapos, yung data is for the td. Yan. Then, ano yung mga data na ilalagay natin dyan? Basically, that will be yung first name. Sabihin natin Raymond, sample data lang muna. Middle name. Last name. Dialog. For the meantime, gano'n lang muna. So later on, we're going to populate the data coming from the database na. Okay, save lang muna natin to and refresh. Yun. So let's try to make it more decent look. Dagdagan pa natin. Sabi natin table border, tapos table stripe. Sige nga. So hindi nag-work yung stripe. Table pala, not border stripe. Yan, kahit pa paano. Ganun. Then let's try to control the width of the column. Sabihin natin meron lang 150 pixels. Yan, para at least dito lang yung pangalan. Okay. Okay, so next thing, since we already have the form, let's make this form working here. In our dito, gagawa naman tayo ng method for that personal information. So it's up to you guys what kind of naming convention you want here. Information. Then for the other one, it will be programming skills. Okay. Okay. So regarding the header part and sidebar part, same thing what we have done before. So just going to copy this part for the header. May kulang pa. We need to put yung ito. It's important. Yan. Then other than that, we also need yung closing footer part. Okay, so let's try to manipulate here yung header at saka footer na. Header, and then yung, I already put it here. Okay, so let me move this here and copy this code. Maybe we're going to change this part, maybe later. So programming skills. Then we have the personal information. Yan. So refresh tayo. And on the part of our header for the visitor portal, of course we need to update this one here, yung mga link natin. So echo site URL, visitor portal. Then yung method niya will be information. Okay, copy this one. Okay, click programming skill, personal information. Okay, working. Okay, so now since we already have this sample form, sample dashboard natin for the visitor account, then the next thing na gagawin natin is to create the login page na. Okay, so let's go back to the home page. Okay, so login page. So let me try to close the other tabs. Okay, so I'm going to copy this code and place it here, and just to copy this one in here, and of course I need to update the name. I'm going to name it as login submit. Yan. So what are the data that I need? I need the username and password. Then we're going to have not a user, but we're going to create a model name. Let me just copy this code. Want to name this as account model. Tapos, to verify, login. So I want the string password and make it MD5 because I'm going to check it into the database. Ngayon, paano yung pag-check sa database? So we're going to manipulate using the get method. So let's go to get database na lang. Tapos, punta tayo sa query builder and select data. So paano ba yung pag-get? Ito. This is how we do it. So yung gagawin lang natin is parang ganito. Get users table. Then we're going to provide a where clause. This db where yung username is equals to username. Then yung password naman is equals to the password. Where clause yan. And then we also need to check yung status. If active ba talaga yung user na yan. Baka deactivated na siya. Then query. Then query equals row. Tama naman, no? Okay. So row is just we're just going to retrieve one result. But if we're going to use the function result, it will retrieve all the result. But since we're just going to check, ganun lang gagawin natin. So if row, if may laman siya, if hindi siya false basically, then it will return a true value or an result of the, but in our case, we're just going to return to the caller the boolean value. Kung verify ba talaga yung user. So let's try that one, if it worked. So once na-validate na, we're going to load the model, then call the verify login. If the response is true, then I would like to redirect the visitor to our visitor portal. Okay, so redirect siya if true yung response. But if it is a false, then i-redirect natin siya pabalik sa account login. So, submit error, sorry, unknown account, sabihin natin. Unknown account. Yan. So, doon sa ating login form, yung kanina, we need to work on yung validation din. Pati yung validation tama. Copy ko lang to. Validation yan, nandito. I also need to provide yung pagiging sticky form, yung username lang, or na yung password. Okay. So, after that, manipulate din natin dito. Kasi if success, hindi na siya mag-display, it will be redirected to the portal. Now, if it is an error, display natin yung error. Okay? So, let's try this one. Submit, username field is required, password field is required. So, ano ba yung username ko? So, sorry, unknown account. Yun. Works. So, naka-redirect na tayo dito. Pero, kung sabihin natin babalik tayo sa ating page dito sa login, tapos sabihin natin bumalik tayo sa visitor portal, capable pa rin siyang login dito, makapasok. So, the next thing na gagawin natin is we need to manage the session. Okay? Once mag-successful, we're going to manage the session. Isa-set agad natin yung session niya. So, public, set, user, session. So, you can name it whatever you want. So, paano ba yung pag-set ng session? Especially kung maramihan na. Let's try to check the documentation. There are part na kung saan kung marami na yung ilalagay. Ito yung gagamitin natin. Let's copy this code and paste it here. So, ano yung mga data na ilalagay natin dito? Yung lalagay natin dito is based sa user na ipinasa natin dito. So, we need to have a row here. So, kailangan ko, sabihin natin yung username. Kailangan ko rin yung user ID. Kailangan ko rin yung lname. Kailangan ko din yung fname. Just in case. Mname. Yung xname. Of course, yung role. Importante yan. Let's log in. That is for the account. Ngayon, what if naman mag-log out? Tawagin ko lang to dito. So once matapos na, we can call the session and set the session there. So we also need to provide something that could check if currently login ba yung isang user. So, sabihin natin public function is user login. Naka-login ba yung current user? So, paano ba i-check kung current login siya? If kahit ganito na lang yung mag-check. If kahit yung login lang, ito. If ito nakaset, if sset and equals to true. Kahit ganun. Basta yung gagawin lang natin dito, i-check lang natin kung naka-set ba yung session na login or yung login ng user, yung session data ng user, nakaset na, then therefore, nakalogin siya. Then we're going to return true. But if it's not logged in, then we're just going to return false. Okay? Now, paano naman yung what if tapos na, mag-log out na siya? So, we can just destroy the session. There are two ways. Merong session destroy dito. Nagkakamali. Destroying session. Meron siya. Saan na? Destroy. Search ko na lang. Yan, there are two ways. We can do this function or we can do this. So, sabihin na lang natin yung ganito. Ito na lang. So, yun lang. Says destroy. Then, sabihin natin log out. Okay, so once mag-login, isa-set natin yung user session. Once mag-log out, i-destroy natin yung session. Then, we can also check if the user is logged in. Okay? Okay. So, once we do that, log in, then mapupunta na siya dito. Then now, on the part of the logout, we can make a logout dito, logout function. Para ma-manipulate natin yung pag-destroy na user. Tapos, ibabalik natin siya sa homepage. So, all we need to do is to load muna. Load. Then call the logout. Yan, para ma-destroy na natin. So, saan natin siya tatawagin? Basically, dun sa header, meron tayong logout dyan. Dito. So, let's copy this URL part. Account visitor. No, it will be account logout. Yan. So, once we do that, it will try to log out. Destroy the session. Wala pa namang session. Pero basically, ganun ang mangyayari. So, let's try to log in again. Yan. So, paano ba natin malalaman kung meron talagang session? So, sabihin natin on our, nasaan na tayo? On our visitor portal, on the index part, let's try to bar dump yung session para malaman natin kung meron ba talagang laman. Baka joke lang. Okay, so try natin, refresh. Yan, so merong data na na-retrieve. See, string, Dailo, Raymond, that's the data that I was set on the part of the session earlier. So therefore, confirm na yung account natin. Nasa-save na sa session. So if I try to log out, okay, let's try to check naman yung sa part dito. sa account if baka nababasa yung session. Refresh. Yun. So, wala na yung session. I-destroy na talaga. Okay? Okay, so the next thing na gagawin natin, since nakaka-process na naman tayo ng session, we're going to check dito. Kasi, yung page, yung kanina, yung visitor dito, dapat ma-access lang to if you are logged in. If you are not logged in, then you should not or you cannot access this one. So, ano yung gagawin natin? Meron tayong function o method na part of our account model to check if login ba siya. Okay? So, we can have not here, on the visitor. So, we can have a construct function, construct, and then we can able to check here if, let me try to copy the code. Being lazy na naman. So I just want to copy the code, yung account model, and try to check if meron ba response. Ano yung sabihin natin is login. So if true, then okay. Pero kung hindi naman siya naka-login, then gusto ko siyang ibalik sa homepage. So, i-reverse natin to. If hindi siya naka-login, ibabalik natin siya sa homepage. So, if we try to refresh this one, yan. Hindi na natin makikita yung visitor mga pages niya. It always redirect us back to the homepage. Kasi hindi naman tayo naka-login. So, ngayon, ano pa yung ibang way? Login tayo. I mean, paano tayo makaka-access? Of course, we just need to log in. Yan. If we try to access this one, yung ibang pages, capable na tayong maka-access. Pero, if we try to say I want to copy this code, and log out ako, and paste the URL, i-enter ko, then di na ako nakakabalik. Okay? So, that's how we can manage yung login functionality ng portal natin. Okay, so the only person na makaka-access ng page na to if you're already logged in. But ano pa ba yung criteria? Login ka nga. Pero, what type of user ka ba? Are you a manager? An admin? Or a visitor? This particular part is intended for the visitor only. Therefore, we need to check as well yung session niya. Since login naman tayo, therefore, we have the session. We need to check the role, which is yung role na set natin yan earlier. Ito, ano yung mga role? Ito kung manager ka ba, kung admin ka ba, o di kaya kung visitor ka lang. So, gumawa tayo ng constant, just like I mentioned earlier, na we can utilize this in the other part of the system. So, yun. So, ito yung tanong. If user ka, if visitor ka, di mo yung role mo, then you can proceed. Okay? May mali. Balik. Ilagay natin ito dito. Kasi if naka-login ka, if you are already logged in, then your role is visitor, then you may. But if your role is not visitor pero naka-login ka, then balik ka sa homepage. Okay, tama ba? Basahin natin ulit. If naka-login ka, proceed dito. If hindi ka naka-login, back to homepage. Now, if you are login but yung role nyo is hindi visitor, then ibabalik ko pa rin pabalik sa homepage. Okay? So that's how we can manage yung login part para hindi na siya makakabalik papunta sa visitor if hindi na siya nakalagin. So the only means na makakapag-access siya ng account niya is to log in. Yan. Okay?